This exercise right here is going to help to boost your self-esteem and self-confidence. It's going to help you to produce results in every area of your life. This is the Selfconception Inventory. This is going to help you to have self-awareness, because when you are aware of who you are not, it begins to develop this power inside of you, because you know who you are. When you know who you are, you can fully accept who you are. When you fully accept who you are, now all of a sudden you position yourself to be in a place where you're living not for somebody's acceptance. You're not working for anybody's acceptance. You're working from acceptance. You don't need people's approval. You know, when you get it, you celebrate it, you accept it, it feels good, but you don't need it. If somebody doesn't accept you, if they don't approve of you, it doesn't cause you to be shaken at your core and make you to question who you are, because you know who you are. And that's what this exercise does. It helps you to get clarity, awareness of who you are, all the good, the greatness, the potential, all the possibilities that are inside of you. Like if you get clear about all these things, man, I'm telling you, you are positioning yourself to be unstoppable, immovable, unrejectable, where nothing is going to stop you. You're going to accomplish all the things that you want to accomplish because you know who you are. So this is going to help you to know and love yourself. You see, if you don't know yourself, it's going to be hard to accept yourself, and it's going to be hard to love yourself. You have to know yourself. And if you don't know yourself, it's going to be hard to control yourself. If you don't know yourself, it's going to be hard to discipline yourself. It's going to be hard to motivate yourself. It's going to be hard to do a lot of things, all because you don't know yourself. So I want you to do this exercise with me. This is the Selfconception Inventory. You need to know what you are worth. You need to have a self-conception inventory to know, to be clear on what you believe you're worth, for you to define, for you to determine on what you're worth, so nobody or anything else is gonna come near to try to tell you what you're worth. No, you're gonna decide that, so that you know and love yourself. So here are 7 different areas that I'm going to help you to do an inventory on, okay? So I want you to get something to write. This is an exercise where you have to put in some work, but this work will change your life. This work will help you to be so clear and confident about who you are and who you are not, where you're going and where you're not going. Like, it's gonna help you to be so clear, so courageous, so committed to where you're going. Nothing's gonna stop you because you do this work right here. So get some piece of paper, get away from everyone and everything, and make this like very important, because it is. Okay, so I'm gonna give you the structure and the questions and the things of what to write. So obviously, I'm not gonna sit here the whole time while you write it, because it's gonna take some time. So you can pause me after I explain each section, write it out, take your time on it. If you need to come back even tomorrow, then you do that. But go through it section by section, so for you to get so clear on this, because the more clear you are on who you are, the more you can accept yourself, the more you can love yourself, the more your self-confidence goes up, and the more action that you take, more results that you produce in your life, all because of this core thing of knowing and loving yourself. It's powerful stuff. It helps you with your business, helps you with your relationships, helps you with your health, helps you in every area of your life, because you know and you love yourself. This is core, deep things here. I'm going to explain each of these 7 areas for you to do this self-conception inventory. You need to write it out as much as you can, take your time, but do the work. All right, the first one is your physical appearance. So what do I mean by physical appearance? So you're gonna write down, that page. Maybe you're gonna take a page, maybe you take a half a page, maybe you're making a column, but you're gonna write down on top of this one, physical appearance, right? And then you're gonna write weight, height, your facial expressions, your skin, hair, style, dress, and your body areas. You're gonna write these different areas down, because I want you to describe and define what your belief is about each of these areas. What do you believe about your height? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it short? Is it tall? Is it average? Like, what is your height, and what do you feel about it? What do you believe about it, right? What is your weight? Get clear, face it. Even if it's uncomfortable and you don't like it, just face it. And we need to really have a clear self-conception inventory here, right? How about your facial expressions? What kind of facial expressions do you have? Do you have any? Are they good? Are they always like mad? Are people always asking you what's wrong? Or are you always smiling? Or maybe you don't share a lot of expressions? I don't know, but you be honest with yourself And let's get clear and define and determine, having this self-conception inventory of what we believe about this. And what do you believe about that? What is your facial expressions like? How about your skin color? What kind of skin you have? Is it oily? Is it clear? What do you think about your skin? What do you believe about it? And write it out. I believe my skin is, and I want you to focus on the positive aspects here, okay? Because why? We're building wealth, right? We want worth. We're building wealth and worth, right? A wealth of good beliefs about ourselves, a wealth of good perception and perspective about who we are, so that we can see past the problems into the potential, into the goodness in us, right? Because there's a lot of that. And that's what this is about. It's about looking for the treasure, to begin to bring that up, to have this really good positive inventory of who we are. So right here we're talking about the physical appearance. So your height, your weight, facial expressions, your skin, your hair. What do you believe about your hair? How do you like your hair? How is your hair? Right? The style of dress that you have. Right? How about your body areas? Is there certain areas that maybe you're a little self-conscious about? Maybe you like more. Maybe you like certain features that you are, focus on those good things that you like about yourself physically. Write that all out. That's one area. The next area is, how do you relate with others? Write down, how do you relate to your coworkers, to your friends, to your family, to your children, to your spouse, to strangers in social functions? How do you relate to all these different people in your life? Write it down. Write it down. Like with my spouse, this is how I relate to her. And write it out. Take your time. Don't just write something so basic and simple. Like, write it out. Think it through. How do you relate with, your family, strangers in like a social environment? How do you relate? Like, when you go into those environments, what do you feel like? Do you kind of wait for people to approach you, or do you go to them? Do you start conversation? Is it easy for you? Is it hard for you? Do you get uncomfortable? Do you get insecure? Like, why do you get insecure? Like, this is what I'm talking about, is really getting an inventory of each of these areas to really know yourself. Okay, so you do that physically. Now you're doing it with how you relate to others. And you do that, you think it through. How do I relate with my friends? How am I with them? What is my personality, my energy? How do I talk with them? What do we talk about? What do we spend our time? Write this stuff out to get really clear. This is a self-conception inventory. How about with conflicts? How do you relate to others when you're going through conflict, or when they're dealing with conflict? Are you able to deal with that? Do you avoid it? Do you go towards it? Do you get frustrated? Do you feel helpless? Like, what happens there? When there's conflict, how do you relate to others when there's conflict there? Get clear on that too. So this is another area. So we have physical appearance so far. Now we have, how you relate to others. Next one, your personality. What is your personality like? Are you more extroverted, more introverted? Are you more someone who likes to ask questions? Are you somebody who is more goal-oriented, or are you somebody who is more people-oriented? Think about, you can do a lot of, research on the different types of personalities out there, right? Just read them and begin to identify what your personality is. And what are the strengths? What are the good abilities? What are the good characteristics and qualities about that personality, so that you can really embrace those things and see the goodness of your personality? Because again, this is a self-conception inventory. We're building, self-esteem and self-confidence here, right? So this is how we do it. So your first, physical appearance, how you relate with others, your personality. Now, how others see you. Write out how other people see you. You can even go and ask them, hey, can you do me a favor? Can you, just share with me how you experience me, how you see me, what stands out about me? What do you think about me? If you would share somebody else describing me, how would you describe me? And go get some feedback from people around you, right? And take that feedback and get that positive stuff and write it out, right? So you can begin to cherish that and see how other people see you. Another one that we're gonna do is mental and emotional IQ. Again, this is a self-conception, inventory of like, okay, what do I believe about myself? What's going on here? What do I have in me? What are my resources? What are my untapped qualities that are here so I can know myself and love myself, right? That's what this exercise is all about. So now we're talking about the mental and emotional IQ, right? So this is your emotional stability, your ability to, deal with conflicts, self-development, knowledge, creativity, wisdom, your insights, you've been able to, solve problems, to create strategies. Like, how is your mental and emotional IQ? How is your emotions? On a scale of 1 to 10, are you stable? Are you up and down all the time? Do you react? Are you sad? Do you have low energy? You feel, like very fatigued all the time? Like, how are you when it comes to your emotions? And write it out. What are the emotions that you experience most of the time? Most of the day? Maybe write down, 5 of the common emotions that you're dealing with, that you kind of live in most of the time, and get some clarity of your emotions, right? Get some self-awareness there, some self-control, some self, discipline there in your emotional states, and learn how to, control and develop better emotions, right? Where you generate joy, you generate gratitude, all because you have an emotional intelligence, all because you have a mental intelligence where you know how to guide your thoughts, you know how to structure things, you know how to strategize, you know how to plan. How are you when it comes to that? Setting up goals, achieving goals, creating results, having order, having follow through, creating systems for your life to make sure you're being consistent. Rate yourself on this stuff. This is the things that when we're talking about getting an inventory. How are you when it comes to your emotional stability? Write it out. How are you when it comes to solving problems? Write it out. How are you when it comes to your knowledge, your creativity, your self-development? Are you learning, are you developing yourself? Write out, honestly, how you're doing in those areas, what you believe about these things. Because this is gonna help you to get a clear self-inventory of who you are. And it builds an inward strength in you, because it's now you're like, oh, this is what I stand on. This is what I believe in, why, right? It creates a strength in you. Next thing you wanna get clear on, you're gonna go from the mental, emotional IQ, getting clear on these things. Now you're gonna write out, okay, how about with my discipline and my daily task? How am I doing with my health? Am I being consistent in my daily activities? The things I should be doing every day, right? How is my self-discipline there? And rate myself and really measure, how I'm doing in that area with my hygiene, with my living environment. Is it clean? Is it cluttered? Is it all disorganized, or is it put in its place? How am I doing there? This is daily activity stuff, right? Like, am I being disciplined there? Am I being consistent there? How about with my food prep? Getting my meals ready, setting myself up with water, setting myself up with snacks, with things, so I can make sure that I'm keeping healthy, that I'm keeping a good energy. Like, these are daily things, daily tasks that I need to keep up on, right? How am I doing on that? How about with caring for my loved ones or my family? These are daily tasks, things that I need to be doing on a daily basis, right? How am I doing with that? I need to look at these things, at my health, my hygiene, my living environments, my food prep, my caring for my family and my friends. Like, look at each of these things and write out, like, what do I believe about these things? What are my standards? What are my values when it comes to these things? And write it out, because again, this is an inventory of who I am, what I believe, and why. So now I'm getting clear in this area, right? Like, what is my worth here? Now, how about over here, my performance at work? What is my worth here? What's the inventory here? What do I have to bring here? In major tasks, how do I deal with major tasks in work? How do I deal with leadership at work? How do I deal with achieving results? What kind of value am I bringing to the workplace, to the team, to the projects? Like, really evaluate myself. What is my worth? What am I bringing to the table at work? Write it out. Get this clear inventory. Write out your worth, your good characteristics. Remember, we're talking about worth. It's perceived. It's what you believe it is. So doing this exercise is going to help you to get clear on the good, powerful things that you have in you when it comes to your physical appearance. You defining and determining what you're going to believe about your physical appearance, so that you know that you are worthy, right? Building worth. Same thing with how you relate to others. Get clear on how you are with them and build worth. Get clear on your personality. Get clear on your daily tasks. Get clear on your performance at work. You get clear on all these things, I'm telling you, it's going to create a power in you, because now all of a sudden you know who you are. You can know and love yourself. Now all of a sudden you know what you're standing on. You know who you are. Nobody can move you. Nobody can reject you. Nobody can, disrespect you or offend you, because you fully accepted yourself. You know who you are. You have something strong to stand on, something stable, a rock. Now you can build on something high. That's the power of knowing and loving yourself. So this exercise of self-conception inventory, it takes work. But when you get clear on all these 7 sections, I'm telling you, you will know and you will love yourself more than ever.